and you'd be all like, "Get ye flask," and it'd say, "You can't get ye flask," and you just have to sit there and imagine why on earth you can't get ye flask.
It's time to grind through the end of the week. That's right. It's the Grinding Gear podcast.
Oh, nice
I'm
slogan.
Garrett. I am Garrett, joined as always by interrupting Kyle says slogan.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's a good slogan. If anything, we should just roll with the grind. It can be anything. It's anything under the sun.
Holy
It's whatever
shit,
you
do we
want it to
really
be.
need to grind through the end of this week?
This is without a doubt one of the more insane news weeks. Not unlike like volume of one topic, but all the things happening at once. It is absolutely bonkers.
We're gonna have a big talk about how no one, not that we should have ever trusted them in the first place, but after this week, I'm never gonna trust our corporate overlords again.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah.
First time.
No, but so much at once. And the timing is so strange for all of it. But that's neither here nor there. I'm here today, Kyle, to ask, why the hell did you make Strong Bad our intro soundbite today?
Because the AI DMs. That's what it'd be like. Get ye flask.
If it was an AI DM. Okay,
the AI
gotcha.
Dungeon Masters,
Yeah. Suddenly, Kyle's not on board for the AI. Now they're coming for your job,
dude. Yeah. Let me make an addendum to 2 weeks ago on that. All effort has left the building, and it's gotten real sad.
Kyle, there was never effort in the first place. It's AI.
No, there was.
Yes.
There was.
No,
hang on.
there wasn't.
Hang on. There was. And the
Kyle,
YouTube videos.
I can use filters too. I know how to click a filter checkbox.
The YouTube videos were very interesting over the holidays. The problem being, copycat YouTubers have taken over the AI algorithm thingies and are trying to ride the wave. So much so that channels that have nothing to do with AI art are making what would Kirby look like as an 80s, but it's all gone bad. It's all gone strange. It's just awful. It's off. Like, what I'm talking about is pruning. Like, we have cut the pruning for mere clicks. The meme has gone too deep.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, it all looks equally
you're wrong. You're right.
as 47 teeth.
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah,
a human being.
I know. It's okay to be wrong. Yeah, it's okay to be wrong, Kyle.
The passionate time to sort through the 20 images they had created and remove the ones that had 15 teeth and 70 fingers. Now we're at the point where that click-through of those was so high, everyone's like, well, I just got to make videos. Have you ever watched like meme compilations? You ever watch a meme Yeah, there's channels that like connoisseur and like work in like puppies and stuff and like really kind of think about their meme compilations. And then there's like, I just downloaded the whole weeks of TikTok and just like added a fade in between them.
Yes, there's your bar subscription service like Chive TV that does, they go out and they really curate that stuff, or you just go on YouTube. Or like, I'm a big fan of the cute Chihuahua videos. I'm I'm a proud owner of 3 cute Chihuahuas. I'm a 3 times over Chihuahua daddy. I haven't seen a new channel I like in a while. They're all kind of just, it's like, I've seen this before. Also, there's like 17 videos in here that are terrible. Get this out of here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it jovial. But if you're like, if just not including things is what you consider effort, you're not.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm not going to tease you. I get it. I think we all have different emotional responses. Like, line up all our news articles this week, all the weird stuff we're going to talk about. Like, I was shook. I was, literally shaking with anger Friday night. While you and I were on stream Friday, D&D Beyond put up their message. And
are we doing this now? Are we getting into what I'm now going to start calling, until this is over, drama and dragons? Do you want to get into it right now?
I'm reaching across the aisle with you, Garrett. You hate AI art, like, and I find it slightly amusing. there were people who saw this D&D Beyond post, and even on stream, like we read it live on stream, and I laughed because you couldn't help. But that night, man, I was so angry. Like, just absolutely.
Why were you so angry? We're both victorious, Kyle.
We all won. Yeah,
we all won. Why were you mad?
Man.
We all won.
We're just rolling ones. Oh my God.
Why would you be angry when we all won?
So what I'm saying is, during this time of turmoil in video games, you might have different emotional responses to different articles. You may find yourself caring more about one topic than another, and that's okay. That is my point that I am making.
Okay.
We can dive straight. We can jump straight to D&D if you want.
We're already talking about it, so why don't we rip the Band-Aid off? I had high hopes of making a Drama and Dragons sound drop, but I never got around to it. So let's just have it, and your red bars are showing.
Well, with any luck, the podcast didn't need to know about that. With any luck.
Last week it was up for a while, and eventually I had to say something.
With any luck, you won't have to make a drop because this won't last, but it does seem to be ongoing. So if you haven't read the D&D Beyond, an update on the open game license, they attempted to be cute, coy, playful.
They rolled a 1, Kyle. Yeah. They rolled a 1.
They tried to be playful with their audience and be like, "Aw, shucks, y'all, you caught us with a draft," real I forgot my homework energy on we just sent out a draft to our content creators and made them sign it on December 23rd. So already I'm having an emotional reaction as a content creator of like, oh, you went December 23rd. Like you went to the Fridays of Friday. You sent an email out at 5:30 Friday so that you wouldn't get answers to it and you could hear about it Monday. Like you picked a day before the holidays when people have spent their money, are building their pools. There's a whole movie about building a pool and expecting money. You should watch it sometime.
I was like, that's highly specific, and I realized you're literally just talking about Christmas vacation.
Exactly. Like content creators had invested in the next year. They were ready for all the things that they're going to do this next year, whether it's, winding down 5th edition, starting to advertise D&D 1 and helping their players and their audience make that transition. And that's content creation, that's money in their pockets, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that already kind of upset me, but ultimately over the course of this next week, they have continued to completely miss the mark. And no matter how many apologies they pass out or how many times they try to describe themselves in accurate ways, I'm still mad. What's going on? And like many people on the Twitterverse, like this is one of those times where like we're all trying to find the right thing to say. We're all trying to digest this into a nice little soundbite so we can all fathom it, in some way. And I think the best one I've seen so far is in an apology, you can't invite someone to drink from the well you've poisoned. And that's what they're doing, is they have thoroughly poisoned this well with their community and with their bizarre, draconic, open license moves they were making. And now they're pulling like this, whoa, join us behind the curtain. Join me for a sneak peek with what it's really like at the Wizards of the Coast Center.
I need to make this bigger. Which one is this? Is this the one from today? No, this is
the
last
one from
week's.
Friday. Okay.
Did you see the one that, or was it today or yesterday? Yesterday. Did you see the statement yesterday?
The message from the D&D executive producer?
Yeah. It was a lot more apologetic.
But you can't. So to me, this still isn't doing it right because you continue to invite people to that poisoned well. You are continuing to say, we're going to be more open about this. The thing is, it was already open. It was the open game license. Like, you can't be open. You can't say, we're going to share with you when you haven't yet shared the legal document you're working on. And
so is your issue with the fact that the news statement that came out yesterday, they're saying, we're going to send you surveys to give us feedback after you see the new draft? Do you want it before? Like, what would make you happy?
Going back to the old OGL, like the issue ultimately for me is that Dungeons and Dragons is a oral tradition. I don't need your products to play this. And when I saved up and I got one of your products, it was pure candy. It was just, I could make anything I wanted out of your system. I had all the rules. The rules exist inside my own head. But when I invested in your book and I bought that from you, it was an exchange that I feel with no other company, because it literally was superfluous. I literally didn't need your product, but I did it because I loved you. Right? So it's
yeah, and I get that.
It's a highly innocent thing.
And I'm not here to tell you don't be emotional, but I do kind of want, like, what is your non-emotional, like, you will only be happy if they walk this back entirely? Because, like, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle at this point.
Right. I don't know what I want, is my honest answer. Because that well is poisoned. You know, I watched lawyers grabbed onto it. So I was talking about that previously. Like, oh, I can't wait till YouTube lawyers grabbed onto it. And they did. Legal.
And sure enough, I watched that Legal video last week and had a great time with it. I loved his take on it, which was, I'm not sure you needed this anyway. I'm not sure even the new thing everyone's mad about would even, like, hold up in court. And I'm like, oh, that's juicy. That's an interesting take right there. Because you know, within the Dungeons and Dragons community and folks like you, y'all are just mad. And you should be. And I think you're a wonderful example of what's happening in the D&D community right now. Soon to be, I think, the Pathfinder community.
Well, that gets into some disingenuous territory that I'm not quite ready to, make that jump yet. Let's talk about that in a moment. Let's continue to talk about YouTube lawyering. Because it was great to have them finally grab on and kind of make it a mainstream topic, because naturally the content creators are, emotional. Like, you're going to have an emotional response. This is for someone attacking your income, your livelihood, your audience, and ultimately whether or not Dungeons and Dragons can pull it back together, they have fractured their fan base and sent them to the wind, because some are going to go straight Pathfinder, some are going to go Lancer, some of them are going to go all these other game systems. We are currently completely spread out. And a content creator looking in this environment has to make a choice. Do I switch to Pathfinder for the numbers? Are the numbers really there? Because we just divided the fan base massively. Like, you took the juggernaut and broke it down, and now it's in too many small pieces for a content creator to make money off of. So all the content creators have already made so you're switching to Pathfinder kind of videos, and that's very, very natural. And there's a great through line of Pathfinder being based on Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition, evolving from there. But the lawyer takes were really, really nice because they were so calm. They were highly lawyery at the end of the day, right? And it was
they're just technical. Yeah, they're just strictly technical. They're just like, hey, this is a legal document, which it is. All that really matters is how it shakes out in law terms. So... yeah, I rather enjoyed that. I enjoyed the sandwich I had last week of the very emotional reckoning of all of this with the D&D OGL and the very clinical reckoning of it in slick edited YouTube form.
So this has led to a host of lies, as people get messages from their friends that said, I have a friend at Wizards and they said this, and then someone publishes that statement, but it wasn't the real statement, and then other people try to counteract. So we don't know kind of what's real. I mean, I've been in this position before with covering Blizzard news. We got messages pretty frequently saying, I have a friend at Blizzard and they say the next hero is this. They said this about
back when they canceled the esports. We were at BlizzCon that year, and team managers were having conversations with people at Blizzard about the next year of esports for Heroes of the Storm.
True. Yeah. So
fast forward 1 month later, the whole thing was axed.
Right. So even the employees don't know what actually is going to happen with the company, and oftentimes these are surprises inside the company.
At the end of the day, if you don't control the money in that type of scenario, there are no assurances. Like, just zero.
So there's been talk about how, Unearthed Arcana is entirely player driven with these surveys. There's comments from people who digest the surveys and put them in the system that they never read any of your statements, and it's basically a catch. So you don't post it on Twitter, post it on Reddit, send them an email. They add the, please describe what you think should be done about the game below, and then they just throw it in the trash. Like, none of that kind of stuff is confirmed. The weird stuff about these recent statements this week is, like I said, the peek behind the curtain when it was previously completely open. We felt like we had ownership as this kind of tradition of Dungeons and Dragons, which has changed greatly over the past couple years with live streaming. You can now watch Matt Mercer, Dimension 20, whoever you want. There Will Be Dungeons podcast, still available. You could go watch any of those and get an idea of what D&D is. But in the past, you had to go like sit at a table with an actual DM who would go, here's how we're playing this game. And because the rules are just undigestible otherwise, particularly for someone like me. And then that was passed down, and you pass it on to your friends, and they pass it on to their friends. And that's how this spread. So the intensity of the ownership and the iron fist that they were attempting to rule D&D with is just a miss beyond any comprehension. The other thing about these statements is they keep saying things that are kind of weird, like, we were never going to license dice. We were never going to stop you from making your own dice. And you're like, well, who the hell said that? Now you're arguing with things we haven't brought up. That's kind of weird. Were you going to try to license, try to trademark the D20, which is impossible to own? They found D20s in ancient Egypt. Like, you can't own the D20. So there's a lot of little words and phrases in here that go, what were you thinking about doing? Well,
I'll give it a benefit. I mean, who knows? Maybe they got like emails.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't. Not everything lives and dies on Reddit.
True. So I'm not personally prepared to make some big switch. Like I said, saying I've always hated D&D and I'm going to Pathfinder is just disingenuous.
Can you imagine the D&D police kicking in the door at your favorite local con to go get all the custom dice?
Dude, I mean, it brings to question many things about how we're working things in a current streaming society, right? Because let's say I own a coffee shop and I want to play Beyonce. Do I buy the rights to play Beyonce? Do I have to pay or alert people around my house if I'm throwing a kid's birthday party? And like, it gets in this whole like, online we have to make sure like, oh, that song accidentally played and oh, we gotta cut that, and hey, you showed footage of this. But you know, in public, we're still free to do those things. And so when you try to license, you know, a thought process, like rules are, and that's something that, you know, legally and other videos have gotten into, which is like, you can't license a method. You can't say trademark, you can't smith ore like I do, because that'd be horrible. That'd be really bad for life for any of us to be like, by the way, I have an underhanded technique for harvesting bananas. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. You have to pay the licensing fee before you can sear a steak in a cast iron skillet.
Everyone, gotta use overhanded techniques on your bananas right now, guys. We're so sorry. I know it's going to take extra time, but we can't afford the license. So this is where, you know, it reaches that comedic sphere of just like, what is going on? And we all know what's going on. Like, they saw record profits while people were using virtual tabletops and locked indoors, and they want to maintain that, and they're trying to increase their hold. So all that emotion to describe Strongbat at the start of the show, there was a leaked email suggestion that there was going to be a $30 sub mark for D&D Beyond coming up as they lock down all other virtual tabletops and distribution channels for books. So your $30 sub may contain all the books. It's like, oh, you now have access, you know, HBO, Netflix, that sort of thing. And also they were working on an AI DM that could DM for you if you didn't have a DM. Those appear to be false, and multiple channels and some official channels have been like, well, that's not true at all. But we don't know what's true anymore during this time.
A lot of anger and a lot of misinformation flying.
Exactly.
Like, and at the end of the day, what really matters is like, it's up to you if you want to change your game. And then the other thing that matters is the end state of D&D at the end, like, because this is not going to be over anytime soon. And I think a lot of us are probably not going to trust WotC for quite a bit until we're sure whatever new version of the OGL is finalized and in place.
And for like overall Wizards, I don't really understand the Magic side of things because I only play Arena, but these packs with illegal, legal, I should say, because they're not like, no crimes, like lock them up. Like, no, they're not tournament ready cards are being sold for massive amounts on top of everything else that Hasbro Wizards of the Coast has been, such as saying, hey, we're just doing this to defend against NFTs, yet they're selling an Optimus Prime NFT at their Hasbro store. So there's just a lot of it's just camels' backs are breaking all over.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I stopped playing WoW when I wasn't enjoying it and didn't really have a lot of faith in the team. But you and I kept playing Here's the Storm because it was fine. We were having a perfectly good time with it, and there was no reason to stop playing the game.
Well, and I admit too, like that's a different situation in my head because I knew people on the team. Like I would not be as emotionally just raw mad if I had that connection with individual devs over on the Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons team. But I don't have those connections this time.
Yeah.
So to me, it's, I'm sitting around the fire. I've got my massive beard. All the children are gathered in front. And I'm on Epcot. I'm telling the stories of old, and I gesture wide at the palaces of Rome. And someone walks in and be like, "Ooh, Achilles is licensed, bro. You can't tell the Achilles story here. Time to pay up." And you're like, "What? No, wait, what?"
Oh, dude, it was so much fun I couldn't remember the backstory of Kratos very well. So I sat down and watched one of those like 25-minute, the whole story of God of War up to this point videos, because there's more and more little not throwbacks in Ragnarok. And I'm like, I played 1 and 2, didn't play 3, and my memory's fogging on basically all of it, except Ares gets big and the ending of 1 is dumb. That's that's all I remember. And so I was, revisiting all of that lore after having just beat Hades was real fun, because it's like, oh yeah, there's just a lot of the same characters because it's freaking Greek mythology, and that shit is just open for anyone to use.
Yeah, for now.
Well, when AIs become sentient and take us over and find a way to trademark and copyright the public domain, then
they really entertain us. Yeah.
That would be the more realistic version of the Terminator future at this point. It's just a bunch of Alexas just powering on and deciding we no longer own rights to anything that we think we do.
So I hijacked the show to kind of air my grievances there. Where's your head at this week?
We were gonna talk about it anyway.
Okay.
We were gonna talk about it anyway. I find I don't really have a horse in the race for D&D. I haven't played tabletop in a bit, and it's always been a very casual thing for me, even though it has been a requested thing now that we stream regularly together. People are like, "Hey, when are you going to do some live action role play?" It might happen eventually, but I'm simply a spectator. I'm simply a visitor in this dramatic world. And the drama ain't done yet, Kyle, because we're going to talk about what's in the news this week in terms of games. And listen, the bumper is the bumper. It's not really good news this week.
Good. Oh, great news, everyone.
I want to add that we have like a Last of Us chaser at the end of this today. We got emails.
We are going to talk about the Last of Us show this week, which I'm really excited about. But we got to talk about this stuff, man. There's just like there's a lot going on, and it's all in the realm of things you and I are really interested in. Like everything is everything except D&D is tangentially related to Blizzard. Although I guess Matt Mercer is involved, which is tangentially related to Blizzard. So I digress. What in the hell is going on with Microsoft? The timing of this is so I'm so confused. Terrible, freaking awful news. Microsoft apparently has laid off over 10,000 people across multiple Xbox related studios. The ones I've seen where people were let go was the Coalition, 343 Industries, and Bethesda. Coalition is Gears of War, 343 is Halo. For those unaware, I just assume everyone in our circles knows Bethesda because I feel like you're all a bunch of Skyrim nerds. But yeah, it's nuts. And then like right before I came to do this podcast, I saw that ex-Halo developers are just like talking mad smack about 343 leadership in the wake of these layoffs. But yeah, and it looked like I didn't have a chance to dig too deep, but it looked like it weren't people that were let go today. It was previous devs that are at different studios. I know one of them was currently working over at Respawn. But massive freaking layoffs. But the CEO's own words said that it was less than 5% of Microsoft's workforce, but it's like, well, that's not, while that seems small when you put it like that, it's no comfort to those being let go.
Right.
But it's just like, it's not the first time you and I have talked about layoffs. It is the first time we've talked about layoffs on this show, but you know, we talked about the Blizzard layoffs way back when we were doing Blizzard shows, and it always freaking sucks. But this one is like particularly perplexing to me, dude, because there's so much scrutiny on Microsoft right now. They still have not been able to get the Activision Blizzard merger through. A day ago, I thought we were going to come in here and talk about how the EU really pushed back this week. I believe where that ended was they were just straight up saying they're not going to approve it. But then this hit today, and it's just like, why? Like I don't understand enough about corporate culture, because I'm wondering, like, did they just assume that this is like no one cares that they're laying people off? Like, is it something that is just not taken into account on the character of your company when you're under scrutiny for a merger? Also, last week they announced that they're doing like their first ever direct, and it's next week. So we're gonna have this massive layoff, and then we're gonna have an Xbox Direct next week, where I'm sure they're gonna have somebody in a blazer and a t-shirt come out with all smiles and talk about all the exciting new things you're gonna get to play on your Xbox very soon.
I don't get the blazer t-shirt hate, but go on.
I'm just trying to paint you a visual picture of what you're going to see next week. Well, somebody is going to walk out and try to be all smiles.
It's New Year's, right? My perspective is, you know, very much based on my upbringing. My mom worked in HR, and this is how you conduct yourself. Like I said, you know, Christmas time is the Friday of Fridays, and you put some really bad news in that time period. And with the new year firing up, all the companies are trying to maneuver themselves. In particular, this Microsoft thing kind of looks like they were preparing the desks to be taken by Activision Blizzard. Like they fired the amount of which people they would be receiving.
That was in the IGN article, which is it's
a bit of a little connection, but yes,
it is a connection. But again, it's like if you're losing developers in completely unrelated studios, like I don't really know how much of a connection that truly is. I mean, it is still like if you're, you know, the controlling umbrella company, money is money, right? But
and then you had the particularly bizarre happenings with NetEase this week, where they tore down they're calling it the orc statue. It was a giant Hellblade. What was that? What's Hellscream's axe called? Gorehowl?
Gorehowl. Yeah, it was a Gorehowl statue.
Yeah, they had a giant Gorehowl, and they denied Blizzard further dealings. This was like back in November. They were like, nope, you're not getting another 6 months. Get out of here, Blizzard. And they took sledgehammers to the statue outside of Blizzard HQ and then served tea, which is backhandedly, like it's known as the tea you serve to insult someone who's pretending to be innocent. It has that sort of cultural tone to it when you serve this particular type of tea. So they served, you know, iced teas to everybody who destroyed this statue after wrecking it and moving them out. And then on top of that, Tencent came in with a bizarre trailer for their mobile MMO that rips off many scenes from Blizzard Entertainment cinematics. The opening of the Dark Portal, you know, now a different portal, but still a not Deathwing climbs on top of the castle and not roars.
Yeah, it's Murderfly is the name of that dragon.
Yeah, of course. So
yeah, I did see that. The game actually does look rather pretty, but it looks like a wicked WoW ripoff. Like it is extremely wowy. Also has dragon flying, which all the Guild Wars fans right now are like, good World of Warcraft. Someone else can steal dragon flying after you stole it from us. But Doomflap is back in
Doomflap is a good name, yeah.
Yeah. So you haven't been following this story. I think we made light mention of it a few weeks ago. But yeah, Blizzard is like essentially leaving China after failing to come to any sort of agreement with NetEase, because to have your game in China, you need to go through a Chinese-based company to even get like rights to put your game out in the country. And so Blizzard is essentially losing those rights, as best as I can describe it, as someone who is very, 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 very much not a lawyer. But
and then they live streamed their destruction of it. And where's the quote here?
This is coming to us via Wowhead, by the way. It's a pretty damn interesting write-up if you want to go check it out in full.
Yeah, so the green tea that was served is used to reference a manipulative person who tries to appear wholesome, innocent, or traditional, but is decidedly not so. And apparently this is the rather kind way of putting that. So, like, there's some massive shade, apparently, while destroying their statue. My goodness.
I fart in your general direction.
Yeah, exactly. Elderberries and all. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah, the timing of all of this is just, it's I mean, it doesn't sound like Blizzard had any choice in the timing of what's going down with China. They were on a ticking clock. They were looking to extend, and they were unsuccessful in that extension. And now we're going to get Chinese WoW knockoff, I guess.
Right. You knock out the competitor and then replace it with your own version of that, so you keep
or at least
the money.
it is NetEase specifically that's developing the game, right?
I saw Tencent was the...
Oh, Tencent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
I'm not, heavy and, obviously I don't know a lot about China's legal terms or how companies develop. I know there was a lot of shares bought in Tencent recently by the Chinese government, and then they're launching their own version of this product after kicking out Blizzard. Like, it's kind of easy to make those connections that they might want to keep the money in-house rather than sending it overseas. But I simply do not know any more than that.
You're not the only one that's brought that. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. They're like, oh, maybe they just want to keep all of the money in country and see it as a loss of revenue to outsiders essentially. But like, there's still a lot of Tencent investment in a ton of American-based studios, new and old. They've had a controlling stake in Riot for a very long time. They also made a massive investment into Second Dinner, which is the old Hearthstone team, and went and made that now runaway success Marvel Snap game, which is seeing a ton of success right now. Dude, my Twitter feed, which is still a lot of Hearthstone players, it's now a Snap feed. Like, I see so much crap about Snap every day. So maybe I'm in a bubble. Maybe Snap's not as big of a deal as I think it is, but it sure seems like the game's doing well.
I think I think it is. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's a good pick up and go game. It seems quite popular.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just I just don't know what to make of this, and no one seems to know like what the inciting incident was, like why they actually kind of had whatever the falling out is. I don't know. If anyone has any more insight on this, please let us know, and we'll definitely come back to it if more information comes out. But
something about security risks too, like it's just, without NetEase's support, Blizzard can't run legally in China, but also the security risk is too high. There's a lot of really bizarre wording for this that will be revealed over time.
Yeah. It's real strange. Like, do you open your damn first direct next week with, we're sorry about Burger, or you just like ignore the fact that you just fired a bunch of devs in front? Like, also, dude, the Starfield like official website had a massive update, and it like doubled down on the fact that they are gonna hit their date, and it's like, and you're laying people off from Bethesda. Well, I realize it's different teams, and it's probably not so clearly or cleanly one-to-one, but
yeah, I think that's something that we just haven't developed properly in video games. It's still a rather new industry, and if you're making a movie, you pal around a bit. You complete your movie. You sometimes do some really weird stuff, like illegally shoot in the alleyway you found in LA. And you get your movie out there, and you're done. And everyone, scatters to the wind and rejoins on other projects. And so-and-so knows so-and-so, and you get back in. So a lot of times you'll see these layoffs after a product has already been mostly completed. However, looking at the front side and what we were kind of sold from corporate America growing up, that job should exist for you further. And then they go to make new games and fill it in with new talent or temporaries. And we go, well, wait a minute. Wouldn't a career invested artist be more beneficial? Or at least more the dream, perhaps. And, we want this to be a dream job, after all, for those who get them.
I remember thinking that way at some point.
Yep. Yeah, as many of us have. As many of us have. So these stories shall continue to develop. I have no doubt about that. And I think that Microsoft's strategy is to announce really cool games. And, frankly, we're not all online. That's kind of the weird thing about this, right? I totally can see a world where I digest 0 video game news. I pick up my Call of Duty. I play it. I don't post about how I burned out. I don't post about how the maps suck. I just, by the way, I have no opinions of Call of Duty. So
I was about to say, I don't think, no. Have you ever played Call of Duty?
I did the original. I thought the original was awesome. Like, it was such a cinematic set piece. It was amazing to go through the different stories of a more factual, fantasy, of course, of World War II, but it was still, it was very gritty. It was the first war game that I really felt the grit on. And it was very impressive in that way. I think
it was Medal of Honor for me, but yeah.
If I played those outside of this sphere of Twitter and other websites, I would burn out naturally. I wouldn't post about my burnout. And the next time they announce one, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah. I've been waiting on that. I'd love for you to upgrade my game. After all, I bought a console because I don't own a computer, maybe, or I just like my console, my TV setup for the Call of Duty activity. And so putting out a new game increases my investment in my Xbox or what have you. And I go on with my life, right? Like the Microsoft display of games will reach more ears than the layoffs will. In the internet-free communities.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's not going to like... There's been such a focus on this in gaming journalism, and so I don't see it going away there.
No. If you are looking for information, you will continue to see this. We are all tuned now to ethical video gaming, and we all want to know how to do that best. And we're still very much exploring how to properly pull that off.
Certainly seems a way of it, at least here in the States. Like, it's a lot of our articles revolve around that and conversations as well. So whatever the case is, I'm sure this isn't the last time we'll be talking about this.
No, but it may be the last of us. I'm ready. Let's talk about Last of Us.
Oh my God, Kyle.
Well, let's thank some patrons first, though.
I hope this isn't the last of patrons.
Do it.
Yeah, if you enjoy banger segues like that and you want to support us, you can go to supportourbromance.com. That will take you directly to Kyle and my shared Patreon. That is our shared Patreon. It will take you right there. Check out supportourbromance.com. We really appreciate the support, everybody, and you'll get yourself some perks like access to our members-only Discord channels. We've got, you can ask us questions directly in there. Feel free to tag us. And as well as some bonus content, we just put out our spoiler episode about Season 1 of Chainsaw Man. And we're looking ahead. Probably, no one's yelled at us about it yet. So I think we might move forward with episodic, one episode at a time, spoiler episodes for The Mandalorian. Because we've been looking for kind of pretty different viewing habits. So we were trying to find something we were sure we were both going to watch. So it's looking like... Looking like Grogu gonna bring us together, sir.
I will talk about that in our upcoming segment. Because this gets deleted for the patrons.
Yes, that's right. You also get an ad-free version of the show, which means you only hear the patron thanks at the end. You don't hear us desperately trying to get you to sign up on our Patreon.
I already did that.
Cut that out for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. Check out supportourbromance.com. We appreciate the support. And I appreciate gas masks, but there actually weren't any. But let's talk about The Last of Us.
the same voice actor, by the way. The video games
sounds like dying double-digit times. That's what that sounds like to me.
99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And 96% on audience, which normally, dude, I don't give a crap about audience, but in this day and age, I think that's telling.
Well, I mean, we obviously Rotten Tomatoes is a source we pull out when it matches our means, right? Same with various stat websites. We did years and years of Here's the Storm stat analysis, and it was very easy, I can say, to tell a storyline that you wanted to tell out of such stats. So, I liked it. Therefore, I like this, and I like when audiences like it. I want to preference this all with a big statement that I would rather play video games anytime.
Yeah. I want to preface this with I'm going to get into spoilers for the first episode because this is based on a video game that has been playable for 10 years. We're not going to do a standalone spoiler show that goes into it. So I'm going to do it here. So that's probably fair. Jump ahead about 20 minutes. I'd say is safe. Probably closer to 15, but 20 minutes if you don't want to hear spoilers for episode 1 of The Last of Us, which, if you played the game, I would argue isn't spoilers because this is one of the most faithful adaptations of a freaking video game I have ever seen.
And that's why I say what I did. Like, anytime anyone's like, you gotta watch X, I'm like, well, that's video game time. Like, literally, I judge my time in half-hour blocks. I'm sure a lot of us probably do this. You know, you might picture things in your head in terms of $60 because that's how much a video game costs. So you look at a dinner, perhaps, and you're like, oh man, that dinner's going to cost me $30. That's half a video game. Well, you know what? I'll eat in tonight. And you kind of follow your logic through that. I do that with like Dota matches. Well, Dota match, here's the store match, 45 minutes, hour, half hour. Like, this has got to be pretty good because I could play a video game in that amount of time. Last of Us had to be even better because I could play The Last of Us and probably match up the amount of content you went through in that amount of time.
Yeah, I did exactly that. After I watched the episode, I fired up The Last of Us and I played the game up to the point where the first episode ends. And it did not take that long.
No,
you actually think I may have gone through it faster than the episode.
Well, the episode also embellished quite a bit. And we spent time with other characters such as Joel's daughter for an extended period.
Yes, yeah, and I think it was all very well done. Like, it didn't feel like filler. It felt like good exploration of well fleshed out characters.
I need to get a cast list here. I need a cast list.
I'm pulling one up as we speak.
Yeah, because I am so excited for many, particularly, I've never really watched Parks and Rec, but I really like what I've seen in the memes of Nick Offerman. I'm so excited for Bill because that's one of my favorite parts in the whole game. I thought Brother was phenomenal. Really nailed his part holding the gun.
You mean Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy. Tommy was great.
Yeah, and I like how because they flesh him more out like very simply, like by just having like the veteran sticker on the back of his truck.
Yeah, well, it's subtext, man. Like, it's so freaking important. You put a sticker on the back of the car, and we don't go. You know, we don't have to sit down, stop the whole scene, and be like, "So, what was war like, Tommy?" It's like, no, you put a sticker on the back of the car. We go, "Oh, he knows how to use a gun." And so when he hits his shot later on, you don't go, "Well, that was strange." Like, it is extremely important. It can sometimes be cheeseball, but it's so important.
Yeah, and I was looking for any tell like that in the game itself, and there's nothing. Like, Tommy just scores a headshot in the game. And so in the show, I'm like, oh, they even like flesh that out just like a little bit more. Like, it was solid. I gotta admit, I love Pedro Pascal. I did not know how I felt about him being cast as Joel because I think of Joel as this like boxy, buffer than he should be video game man.
Pedro Pascal's pretty buff.
Sorry, what was that?
He's pretty buff. Those arms are nice. He's got some nice arms in the show.
He seemed like he bulked up for this, right? Because I think of him as a little on the skinnier side. I still think of him as Oberyn from Game of Thrones, where he was a more like agility. Like, if we were to D&Dify. Sorry, right. I know D&D is a little, it's a touchy subject right now. But Oberyn would be a more agile character than a brute strength character.
Right.
Whereas, Joel is kind of firmly in that, gruff warrior territory.
I mean, Mandalorian's running with armor. I mean, the real story to me here is like we've been doing years and years of who's the new Harrison Ford? Who can we rise up in the ranks and find a young kid that can entertain us for their whole lifetime? Pedro Pascal. Like, he's done Game of Thrones, Mandalorian, Last of Us. Like, dude's Joel. Like, that.
Yeah,
it's
wonderful casting.
Holy shit! Like, dude is Joel. Like that is, I freaking like his tiredness, his reaction to the watch, like just the scene where he checks his watch, it's not there, and then gives it a slap. Like subtext, you didn't know, but your brain did. You know, red letter media. Like it was just a great exercise in that, and I think the trailer for the show sucks. And all future content of like, tune in and you won't believe what it all.
Yeah, you have to make it exciting. Like I think you and I, which I'm surprised about because you usually don't like this type of darker drama, but I feel like we're both here for the character beats. Like we want the character exploration. Like, can you really do it because the game did it so well? Can you really nail it and also make us still care because we've already been through this experience, right?
Yeah.
Am I putting words in your mouth or am I in the ballpark?
No. I think you're on the right path.
Okay, because that's definitely it for me. like I think a couple weeks ago we talked about it. I was like, I don't want this. Like, I've already had this experience. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of my favorite stories of all time, regardless of genre. I don't want this, and apparently I do. I loved this first episode. Like, I'm really over the moon with it. I think it's an exceptional production, and the casting is perfect. It is pitch perfect casting. Also, I will say I'm a little annoyed with Pedro Pascal.
Why?
They made him up to look older than he actually is, and somehow he's hotter as a result. And that's really annoying to me.
Sure.
Pedro Pascal it would make a good silver fox. So, hey, Pedro, I guess let it ride when you get to that stage.
Oh, yeah, man. They hit so many things in this. Yeah, speaking of the casting, like, I love the Tess casting. Tess is so much more filled out than the video game.
Yeah.
And she is just freaking phenomenal. This is Anna Torv, if I'm saying that right, but just like rolls in, you're just like, yep, post-apocalyptic dealing with shit. Like, oh, yep, absolutely. I believe it 100%. Nico Parker, who played the Sarah Miller, the daughter, had such a hard role to do. And in addition to having to go out in front of nerds and say, we're adding additional scenes that weren't in the video game, and then selling those on top. Like, that was some phenomenal quick acting. Because you had to like her very quickly and then get rid of her just as quickly, you know?
Well, it's like everyone kind of got, I guess everyone except Joel got extra scenes that we don't see. Because Sarah and Tess are like, they're just not that filled out in the beginning of the game, which is where we primarily deal with them and kind of experience their characters. So Tess got a scene that is straight up not in the game, and it's wonderful. And Sarah got multiple scenes that are not in the game. And I think they did a lot of work to really sell this and make it work as a episodic standalone episode of television.
Well, and it's a suspense show, and that's why all the trailers suck. Because they are all showing it as an action pack. Look at all the sights you're gonna see. Look at this adventure we're gonna go on. But the bonus scene with Sarah Miller in the house with grandma opening her mouth in the background, that was tense. And
my God. Oh, the grandma was creeping me out. The hair in the mouth.
Yeah, like, the little tendrils, also, fungus.
I know we're both sensitive to this. Thank God. Thank you for just holding on shots. Thank you so like they held on that shot of the grandma rising up for way longer than I feel like most modern television would.
Yeah.
By the like tangentially, dude, what helped write this, Craig Mazin, he wrote the miniseries on HBO Chernobyl, and also has some, I think, truly dumbass takes on video games that have come out of press for this show. I don't know if you saw any of it, but he made a lot of nerds like me pretty annoyed because
what'd he say?
He's like, well, I don't have this up in front of me, so I'm gonna horribly paraphrase, but it was shit like, this is straight like full stop the greatest story told ever in a game, which I kind of agree with, but that's like my personal thing. That's objective or subjective. And there were other things too that were just kind of like putting down other game narratives is like throwaway, and it's annoying. It's dumb.
I mean,
it doesn't matter. My point
I can make a point off of your point and basically be like, the guy probably invested how many years into dissecting the story, and if you didn't find joy in that, and frankly some competition, you wouldn't have produced a good product. Like, you need that to drive you sometimes.
Yeah.
And so he probably is putting down other game stories so that he himself felt like he was spending his time wisely, because there's an opportunity cost with doing any sort of content. I'm making this content right now, which means I'm not editing a video. Like, it's all, your life is finite if you want to be even more extreme about it.
Yeah. But what I find funny about that is I really just wanted to tell you that and made sure you were aware of that, so that at this point, like, because what I find really amusing about it is that how quickly everyone has just forgotten about that. We're no longer yelling about this man's bad video game takes because the show's good. Like, we're just like, whatever, all is forgiven, irrelevant, because you actually treated the source material with respect.
Well, go to episode 2 of this relaunch show and you can find me going off on the God of War 2018 creator for saying that, previous Kratos was one note and toxic. And I'm just like, oh my God, you completely missed the point of old Kratos. You're so wrong.
The lifting of old Kratos, it is done off screen with a couple cinematics. I kind of agree with it. He's kind of just yelling and ripping people apart for 3 straight games.
He is mad and justified, and it was really fun killing entire pantheons. Like, that's, when it comes to, like, I'm still sitting here, I'm playing through God of War Ragnarok right now. I'm just like, do Egypt, let me kill Anubis, let me kill Anubis. Like, I'm going around, like, destroying towers for dwarves right now, and I'm just like, I'm enjoying this, but frankly, can I rampage? I want to rampage. Can I rampage?
Yep.
With emotional turmoil, and like, let's rampage.
I watched that prompter on the Kratos lore, and I forgot what a new metal butt rock Godsmack album cover nightmare original Kratos was. Like, that soul patch is the ugly, like, he's the stupidest looking video game character since Crash Bandicoot.
I mean,
he looks like a Harley Davidson t-shirt.
Dude, if you put that much work into your body, you can do whatever you want. That is always it doesn't matter what hair, clothes, whatever you want to style your person. If you have physically crafted your pecs to produce that level of puff, go for it. You've already won.
Get an Arnold Schwarzenegger haircut or grow a beard. And so 2018 Kratos has figured it out.
Back to this.
Back to us.
Yeah, back to The Last of Us.
The other character we got a scene that isn't in the damn game is freaking Ellie.
Oh yeah.
We get that extended sequence, of Bella Ramsey as Ellie and like chained to the wall, and that's how it's an interesting way to get introduced to Ellie. I really liked it. It was great. I wasn't mad about any of the extra scenes. I didn't feel like any of it took away or felt like it was wasting my time.
No, I mean, I watched it from a position of skepticism. So every time one started up, I was like, because there was parts where you were in the truck, you were shot for shot, like doing it. You went through the little diner, you went into the plane. Like, I was just going,
there was no plane in the original.
There were planes though in the original. So
there were, but you get in the game that you get T-boned, which is what rolls the car over.
Right,
the plane crashing has nothing to do with it.
I mean, honestly, I'm impressed. I remember as much as I do because I played this as a Redbox bender. Like, I rented it. It was a brand new game. I had 48 hours and I beat it in 34 hours. Like, I did not sleep. I got Last of Us and I just went. And Kristen went to bed and woke up and I was still going. And I just saw it through. I was so distraught at the end. It was such an amazing end. And I was just like, what do I do with my life? I had that book sadness, So I was really impressed by how many little scenes I was going, oh, nice job. Nice. Like, I had petty things like, oh, Joel's supposed to come through a sliding door, not meet her outside. What the shit are you doing? But, again, my memories might be wrong. It's a little warped, but, shooting grandma, hey, what do you... It's fine. All these sound of bonus scenes are working out. The only thing that didn't hit in this episode for me was Bella Ramsey just going a little hard on the anger. I think she's going to 100% be a great Ellie down the road. It just seemed like overly... It was too actor angry for me. The anger wasn't real. And that was it. That's my one complaint.
I needed Ellie to successfully be a back talker and a smart ass, and that was very successful for me.
Yeah, Yeah, no, she said the F word well, and that didn't seem forced. But you know, like the counting with the middle finger, I was kind of like, all right, this is a little too like it was just a little too angsty. Maybe it reminded me of me. You know, maybe that's it. I just responded to it. I'm like, whew, teenager angst. Like, oh, tough to watch.
I love that. I love that shit. Also, I thought that was well timed because it was like, this needs any levity at all because they embellish some of the sadder parts. And so it's a pretty dark hour, 20 minutes of TV to watch. So I was like, there's something you need just a little garnish to snap you back out of it, make you crack a smile so that you're ready for what comes after.
Maybe.
So I thought that was well tempoed.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed what I saw there. I am curious how they're going to keep it up because like the promotional materials are all so awful because it's missing all the tension. There are long lingering shots here. There's, you know, an actual set piece zombie on the wall, you know, that's probably computer enhanced in some way, but they built that, you know, you enter the room, they built that and you go, this is like there's going to be real stuff. There's going to be clickers walking around in makeup and showing a bunch of like flash, bum, 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 bah. That doesn't highlight the parts I liked about the show, like grandma boating in the background.
It's fine. But I mean, the game had both. The game had large set piece, you know, big, scary, what would be like, quote unquote, big budget zombie movie moments too.
True.
So
and
I don't mind it. I understand the purpose of it. I kind of liked that I didn't love the trailers that much because I went into this super skeptical and I was like, oh, thank God, this is moody and tonal and it takes its time. And that made me happy.
Yeah. So many great callbacks and just information, like the lady being like, I can't pick up that one. And what does Joel do? He picks up that one and throws it in the fire. Like that stuff goes, well, damn, like he's moved on, but it's not a good kind of move on. You know, he's dead inside.
No, it's a callus. Yeah, it's a callus. It's a hollowing out.
Well, and the filling out of the Firefly chief, Captain, whatever their title would have been, that was great too. Like the whole conversation.
Yeah, the Fireflies get more fleshed. I saw some people being like, "Oh, I wish they fleshed out the Fireflies more." And I just played through the first section. I thought they got fleshed out more in the show than they did in the game, at least in this part of it.
In my memory, like Tess almost seems like more fanatical and like into Fireflies. This was more of a stumble in that I liked. You know, she wasn't selling them hard; they were just doing a job that happened upon them. And that was really, really nice. I just also love the line of "You don't have an ear." I thought that was one of the best lines I've seen in a TV show.
You don't have any here?
Yeah, but her friend Kim is listed here in the played by Natasha. She goes, "Let me do this." And she goes, "You don't have an ear. Shut up." And then the camera turns and her whole ear is blown off.
Oh, by the way, I don't. Merle Dandridge, I believe, is Marlene. Also Marlene in the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I freaking crossed that over there.
That was way better than The Mandalorian then.
I completely disagree with you because I know exactly who you're talking about, and it's okay to be wrong, Kyle. As someone told me recently, it's okay to be wrong.
It's okay. Yeah, we're all wrong about AI sometimes.
Yes. Some of us are.
I did not like her performance in The Mandalorian at all. It was really weird, but I didn't even know that. That's fabulous.
Also, I love the foreboding at the very end of the leaning tower against the other tower.
Oh yeah. Oh,
because I died so many times in that damn tower.
It was really hard. Oh my
God.
Yeah.
The first clicker. It's like if you play, part of me was like, I hope they're not too faithful because I want to be surprised. And at least off the first episode, I like that they've been super faithful, and where they've taken liberties is adding, not like subtracting or changing.
That's fair. Yeah.
They have changed Ellie a little bit. I'm with you. So I didn't think the anger was bad. I think that's how they wrote her for the scene, and I thought it was well acted. The scene where they kill the soldier and Ellie's there, like that scene. Ellie's like seems into it, which is weird because in the game she's kind of freaked out. She's like, "Oh wait, holy shit! I thought we were just gonna like tie him up or something." But in the show, it seems like they're kind of fast forwarding The Last of Us 2 Ellie a little bit, and I don't love that. But for me, it's really minor.
Yeah, I haven't played Last of Us 2. of course, how could you not digest all the drama that came out when that game released? But for me, it was a human drama now, not a zombie drama. So I didn't really work hard to play it.
I mean, the zombies are still very much a part of it.
I know, but you did
it actually has one of the most terrifying zombie experiences I've ever had in a game.
And as a fan of monsters, when you go into because I do this, when I'm not invested in something, I will go to and I will go monsters, best cutscenes, boss battle, click, and then I'll see the thing, and I might invest myself at that point, like the Rat God or whatever it was called. It may be in the theme in the moment. It may have been really cool, but it seemed like that was the only real zombie thing that happened in Last of Us 2 outside of. There's just a lot of killing people.
Well, I played it and no.
Still, from the outside, it seems like more of a human drama, less of a monster film. Which...
That's fair. It's darker and more dour, and there's not as many moments of levity, like there is in this first game or the first game or show. So there's that. Either way, that was the only thing where I was like, it kind of feels like you're jumping ahead a little bit, but it was pretty minor. Like,
yeah, well, we meet Ellie in the video game as Joel, so her backstory isn't as developed because we quest alongside her as Joel. In the TV show, we're able to spend time with Ellie, and in that way, it seems like she's been out in the world a lot longer. Like Last of Us, Ellie almost felt like, here's a kid, they don't really know what happened, they're not really wise to, adventuring. Take them on this adventure and they'll grow with you. Whereas this Ellie seems more capable. But to me, it was just like angry acting, like you'll see in an action movie, like someone just yelling the whole time. And you're like, why are we yelling the whole time? That was kind of, I think Bella Ramsey is going to do phenomenal when we get to Ellie Prime. Ellie Prime is awesome.
She seems, I already enjoyed the little bit of like the prickliness and the back and forth banter with Joel, and so I think she's going to be good at that because she barely had any damn scenes in Game of Thrones, and she played that role fantastically in Game of Thrones of being the kind of shut you down despite my age type character. She's one of the best things about those awful latter seasons. Right.
That was basically the addendum we were adding to all our conversations of Game of Thrones was, who's the kid? Love him, whatever. Moving on. Like we had other things to talk about. My last point I want to make is, hey, the Mummy connection, Brendan Fraser, John Hannah doing the Dr. Newman thing at the start grew on me. Again, like I met
is that who that was?
Yeah, so the brother.
Oh my word, yeah.
And running around and zombies or mummies.
Did the year change do anything for you? I thought it was a interesting decision to have the outbreak happen in 2003.
Is that
that is not the case in the game.
When does it happen in the game?
Later. I forget exactly when, but not 2003. It's not like they were really playing up the period piece of it. 2013. Yeah, I think it was just the year it came out is the year the outbreak happens.
Oh, okay. I mean, I love seeing actual 90s houses. Like grandma's house there was great.
Dude, that was like 70s. That was a 70s house.
No, but that's the thing.
But that's what houses look like in the 90s.
Right. That's when they do these movies and like the 90s, everything's color and windbreakers. Like that's not where you live. That was like where
your clothes were colorful. Yes. Your home was drab.
Exactly, because we still had that wooden furniture from JCPenney's, leading the way.
Mm-hmm,
but like I hated the start because I like the subtlety of the original game where it's just like, let's get into it. Bum, bum. Ant, JPEG of ant flying by. Ant goes, and like, you're like, oh, cool. Like this kind of, it was so ridiculously Game of Thrones with the fungus growing in the shape of the United States and going across the water. And
it's basically lifted from the game. The game has an intro that is very similar. It doesn't make the United States, but yeah.
But we didn't need John Hannah's scene in order to, we could have just rolled the intro and been like, oh yeah, fungus and ants and like, but I really like the actor for one, because he was in The Mummy and other things, but The Mummy. And
I just thought it was a fun scene.
And it built that tension and that slowness that I wanted from the show. That, we are going to have those good stealth scenes coming up. This isn't going to be an action-packed thriller. We are going to have that slow horror movie moment. And it really reassured me we dropped what we were doing. Like we were fully prepared to like do anything but watch this show last night. Now we got both kids to bed. It was a rarity that both kids went to bed. So we're like, fire it up. But we got our snacks, we got our books. Like, we were just ready to like doodle through the whole thing and just be like, you know what? Like, this might be horrible. But we were invested. We're definitely invested.
I thought it might Cowboy Bebop me, where Katie and I start watching it and we end the night watching real Cowboy Bebop instead. Like, I thought we might leave and just go play Last of Us. But instead, I just did both.
Yeah,
that's the whole show.
That's great.
And we played the game, and we had a great time doing both. So it's well done. It's well done. If anyone asks me what I recommended, the answer is a hard yes. It's like go watch it if you're in the mood for this. Also, if bummer things bum you out, like I am of the opinion that the hardest story moment of Last of Us is the beginning. I think it's easier past this point.
Yeah, there are hurdles that they are going to have to overcome for sure to make this show good. But for me, like, it was just Bill. Like, I loved all the traps and exploration with Bill so much.
Bill was the moment in the first game where I was like, I already really like this game, and now I love it. It was where I went from like to love. Bill. When Bill
Tommy
came in, I was just like, damn, this game rules.
And Tommy was super frustrating in the game, and I think Gabriel Luna is how I'm pronouncing that. He nailed the brother thing. So all signs are saying yes. I just really, my big request is let's not embellish. Let's not spend more time with non-monsters, because I'm just kind of over the people are the real monsters thing. We're absolutely doing that. We're absolutely doing that. Stories. Absolutely, we're gonna do that. But let's not like make that bigger than it needs. If we can do the actual like pull up the car thing, that guy's faking, and then and get in the house and the tests and the business. Like, yes, let's do that shot for shot. But I don't need more of that. I don't personally need more of that, please.
It's all chemistry at the end of the day. I need to be into you or hate you butting heads, whatever works. It just needs to be cohesive, and so far it is. So.
But I like digging it. 10-year switch. I wasn't aware of that, but I think it's a highly iconic looking age.
I belly laughed when they cut to the present day and the dude's wearing a Gore Lieberman shirt. Like, I snorted. I was laughing so hard. I was like, I haven't seen that logo in so long.
That like plastic cover on his phone, from his phone having the like leather jacket on it. Like it's such a time and place. And it restricted the use of like, what would you, like backdoor technology. It makes it sound like such a hack, right? But nowadays, radio's at, TV's at. What would we do? We'd go to Discord. We'd use 100 other services to try to bypass cell phone towers being out. So to put it in 2013, I think would leave a lot of holes there. And it's fine. And there's so much that you can hand wave. And if you're like you mentioned, the brother just firing a gun. Like in a video game, when someone fires a gun and they're good, it's like, well, it's a video game. If we all sucked at guns, this game's gonna suck, you know? So when someone shows up, fires well in a video game, you just kind of go, yeah, sure. But the building of...
It's a game.
Yeah, but the building of Joel's expertise, the weapons he has down in his little floorboards, like it all works to inform a character who you are going to scrutinize way more than you would your controlled character, because you're bringing yourself to that guy.
I'm ready for Sunday. This is now appointment viewing.
Yeah, this is a Sunday.
Sunday show. This is like same day and time as Game of Thrones. 9 o'clock Sundays. Like even though it's HBO Max, I'll just watch it whenever I want. But it's appointment viewing. Like I'm just gonna watch it immediately and enjoy the Twitter experience of seeing everyone's reactions afterwards.
How many episodes we doing?
I think it's a 10 episode order. You should be able to see if you're on there on IMDb.
Well, that's video's 10. 9 episodes according to the...
Okay, 9.
Yeah,
gotcha.
The little business here. Okay, yeah. So we have season 1, episode 2 is going to be called Infected. Hell yeah. Oh, let's live in that tower. Let's just
we haven't
in the tower.
I'm so pleased that you weren't annoyed that we didn't like deal with zombies in the first episode.
Oh, we did. We ran around. Everything was. The barn was on
sorta,
fire. The barn was on fire in the
kinda,
game, right? I remember the barn.
Kinda, not the full-on deteriorated nightmares.
Yeah.
Which, dude. But so I did go. This is my final thought, which is no longer on Last of Us, and I'm not going to do Chernobyl spoilers, but it's also based on the actual historical event. But I went and watched Chernobyl. I've now seen all of it because it's only 5 episodes. Which is from one of the writers here on the Last of Us show. And perfect choice. That show is the most hollowed out, dark view of humanity I have sat through in a really long time.
You talking about the writer for the show?
Well, just Chernobyl, the show, yeah. But also, like, I don't know if they brought over people that worked on the production of it. Holy crap. I was legitimately grossed out. It takes a lot to gross me out. There was some shit and some practical makeup in that show that made me want to throw up.
I can believe it.
Yeah, it was nasty. It's a weird recommendation because it is literally one of the most unpleasant things I've ever watched, but it is a masterpiece of a show. Like, holy shit.
Nope, I need the monsters. I need 100%. Man. It's a little different than when I was like a kid, which was, monsters scary. I gotta, do the cleanser on the other side, like watch a cartoon. Nowadays, I'm like, don't showcase humanity to me. I want to be able to go to bed saying, well, we're not that bad because there's no real monsters in the world, right? Do
you like war movies or shows? Like, do you enjoy like Band of Brothers or anything like that?
I do. Yeah, I do like Band of Brothers.
Because Chernobyl feels like one of those, but about the Chernobyl disaster.
Interesting.
It essentially settles in on like 2 main characters that kind of form this brotherhood as they try and figure this out, and they're based on real historical characters that were there and were assigned to try and fix this. And it gave me like Band of Brothers, the Pacific vibes. Like, I really enjoyed it.
I mean, Band of Brothers is good. I would rather watch Ken Burns.
Okay, fair. I would rather watch Band of Brothers personally.
I'm not like being pinky out. It's just
yes, I know pinky out. Kyle.
Excuse me, I prefer a documentary. Not at all. It's just like
yes.
I character-driven story. Like, I kind of want to know the facts in the background, but add some sci-fi, add some fantasy to me. Like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Anyways, it was very good. Very, very good. And knowing that it like some of that cloth was cut off for the Last of Us show, I see the through line, and I now have a lot of trust in this series.
Are they doing the full first game?
That's what I have heard.
That's great. That's what I want.
I don't know. I think they would be good too. The thing is, though, is like, I don't know. It seems nuts that that's if that is what they decided to do. Like, because it looks like it's a kind of a runaway success.
Yeah, but it's already shot. They can't go make it.
Oh yeah. No, I know that. It just seems a little odd. Yeah, that's right. The prequel DLC is going to be an episode. Well, I don't know if it'll be a standalone episode, but they showed shots in the trailer that are clearly from the DLC.
Oh, like the dance and all that, where she gets.
Wait, dance.
The business? Where she gets bit, right? Isn't that the prequel?
Essentially, yes. Yeah, the prequel.
She's at the dance, she's at a date, and I think...
Is it a dance? No. I think you're confusing a scene from 2 with the DLC. The DLC, they like find an arcade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're exploring and shit goes south.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that we know that's going to be a part of this as well.
That's fine.
The thing is, I haven't seen anything in the trailers that looks like it's from the like end stages of the game.
Yeah, I would be really disappointed if we got to Tommy and that's where we quit, because the stuff past that and the snow is.
Oh, there's reviews for the whole damn season. What? I'm just now finding this out in chat.
Okay. Oh, apparently,
people have to review the whole thing.
Apparently, while we're talking, Wizards of the Coast also put up a news statement. So, news happens during this show. Can't stop it. News is always on the go.
Can't stop it. Hey, all right, let's wrap it up here. It's a good show. Go watch The Last of Us. We'll probably keep talking about it. Unless Kyle gets annoyed and stops watching it, and then I'll talk about it at him.
No, the number of excuses I used to get through Rings of Power, like, I would be hurt if this turned around and suddenly was bad.
Well, you know what never turns around and turns out bad?
Emails?
Hello there. Hello there.
Hello there.
You can send your questions to feedback@startgrindinggear.com, or if you're supporting us on Patreon or the YouTube membership, you can just message us in the dedicated questions for hosts channel in the members only Discord. We got it set up for you. Feel free to add us if you want a question answered like before the show, like it's not for the show, but yeah, that's where these are all coming from. Kid London said, at Garrett, a reminder from a past MSQ stream to ask about the first time you played Grand Theft Auto 3 at a birthday party. If I remember correctly, it had something to do with farts. Yes, Kit, it did. Kyle, do you remember where you were the first time you played GTA 3?
Yeah, I was at my friend's computer, and we did the usual, pick up the hookers thing. Of course we did, right?
Yeah, you were edgy little teenage kids.
It wasn't like I wasn't edgy at that point. Maybe it helped me become edgy, but the video game allowed you to. And then we went straight to Jedi Outcast and started spawning Luke Skywalker 25 times. So we were just breaking games that night and having fun.
I think it was like, when the hell did that come out? I think it was like my 13th, 14th birthday. I think it was my 14th birthday, maybe 15th. No, I was in high school. I was definitely in high school because a friend was there that I didn't meet until high school. So it had to have been 14 or 15. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't know. You and I were talking about it. I think the way this came up was like talking about how like what a game changer it was when GTA 3 came out. Like that game blew my mind when it originally came out. So we stayed up. It was like my birthday party. Like had a bunch of friends over and we just like stayed up all night playing games. But we literally just someone brought that like on a lark, and it was the first time any of us except for the dude who brought it had even seen the game, and we've just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So we stayed up basically till the sun came up, just stealing the one fire truck and seeing how many stars we could get. Yeah. But were you ever a insufferable young teenager that thought literally anything was funny and you just giggle and laugh at
of course
damn near anything?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we all hope that those teenagers don't end up in the movie theater with us. That was us that night, and we would take turns, and whenever the cops would eventually kill you, someone else would get a turn to see how high they can get their stars up and how long they can keep. Yep, that was the game we came up with. And naturally, those of us who weren't playing eventually got bored and thought it'd be fun to start farting on our friend that was currently very intently trying not to die to police in Grand Theft Auto 3.
Perfect.
And still to this day, some of us remember laughing about the term sliding squealer because two of my friends had this rare talent where they could slide on carpet on their knees. And so they'd like slide up and fart on you while trying to distract you and make you die in Grand Theft Auto.
Sounds like a sleepover. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sleepover. Sleepover AF.
Yep. Yeah, that what would you say? The unaided drunkenness of sleep deprivation in children.
Yes. Oh, dude, I remember the first time ever doing one of those like birthday parties where you stay over and play games all night.
Yeah.
It was the N64 era, so it was GoldenEye was the game of choice that night. We literally didn't sleep that night. And then it was a really extended birthday party. Like we all got together after school on a Friday night to the dude's house whose birthday it was, had pizza, cake, played GoldenEye all night. And the next morning we were going to end the party at a bowling alley.
Ooh.
I think it was to make the pickup drop off more convenient for parents because all of us lived in one city except for the friend whose birthday it was. So they dropped us off far away and then they picked us up at the bowling alley in our hometown. And anyway, stayed up all night. We show up to the bowling alley. I go to throw my first bowling ball of the day, and the thing just cascades into the lane next to it. I did get some pins, though. I did get some pins in the next lane. And that's how tired I was. I couldn't even keep the ball in the same lane.
Yeah. We had a very, very cool... What were they called? Computer science teachers? What was the teacher who would manage the computer room? Had a title.
Like AV?
Yeah. We had a very cool one of those who would host lock-ins for us in the computer lab.
Cool.
And as long as everything was uninstalled by the end of the lock-in, we could play games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. The only time we ever did a lock-in was high school graduation. We did a lock-in. But they didn't do it on campus. They like rented out the local YMCA. But they brought one of the computer labs to the Y and turned it into an Unreal Tournament LAN room.
Damn, that's sweet.
That was cool as shit.
Yeah.
But I was in the corner doing Smash Brothers because they also had set up. So the middle of the room was all the computers, and and all four corners were at the time what would have equated to a big screen TV with would have been playing Smash Brothers Melee. Yeah, it would have been GameCube at that point, so it would have been Melee. So I was playing Melee with my friends. I wasn't an Unreal kid. I was mad it wasn't Counter-Strike.
See, 2003 is a great time to put your movies in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I just realized setting it in 2003 makes the existence of an arcade a little more realistic than setting it in 2013.
Was there an arcade?
There will be.
Oh, there will. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, you didn't play that part, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the DLC, there's an arcade. And it's like in 2013, most arcades were gone. But in 2003, we still had some. They were still rare. But oh yeah. Fjord Explorer wants to know, said, now that we're both familiar with Spy X Family, if you were asked to describe a prototypical outing, what is the first thing that comes to mind for each of you?
Oh, what now?
The family outing. That's what Anya calls an outing.
Oh,
family outing.
Right. Oh, okay.
So what is your prototypical family outing, Kyle?
In real life?
Yeah. If you were to, in the beginning of Spy X Family, they have their first family outing to, get to know each other and keep up appearances. And Anya's adorable and could only call it an outing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Can't pronounce it right because she's a little kid.
All right. Well, you take the question first. I'm still a little confused.
Oh. What do you like? Do you go to the park? Do you go to the zoo? Do you?
Well, yeah, but in Spy Family, they're working hard to look normal. So, it's not a real outing. It's a fake outing. So so what you're asking for maybe is like the type of outing I would plan to impress distant relatives and make us look cultured. But with what we normally do, which is we load up in the double stroller, go down the hill to the grocery store that has those bins, like Whole Foods or any of those kind of have. And, you get the snacks in the little bags. Like that's our typical extended, on a time limit because a 2-month-old outing.
I think that's exactly what Fjord is asking here.
Oh, well, there you go.
What is your typical family outing?
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Epcot. We go to Epcot.
Wow.
That's our prototypical outing. Yeah, well, we used to get in for free a lot because we used to have a hookup, and then we got so used to it that we paid for an annual pass. Because that last CEO kind of locked things down for our good friend who used to get us in for free. Yeah. Yeah. So
the outings are they're a bit more complicated when you have human beings that can't dress themselves.
We had a merged family outing this past weekend. I got to go meet one of my oldest friends in the world. They just had their firstborn. You know him, Steve.
Yeah.
Because we share a mutual friend between us. I've known this dude since I was 3. We met in preschool, and he just had his first kid, and we hadn't. They actually gave birth in lockdown when the hurricane hit us. You remember when I was worried about that week because Hurricane Ian was coming in? Yeah, that was the day that they had to go in and give birth, and the hospital was on actual lockdown. And I actually just found out that they when they went in, they were like they had to sign a paper because they were like, warning, we may run out of food, and you need to sign this to confirm that that. And so my friend Steve was like, no big deal. Publix 2 minutes away. I'll run out real fast, grab some snacks. And he said the doctor came in and said, you're not going anywhere because this is happening now. So that was their experience. All turned out fine. But we got to finally go meet the baby. And so we had a merged family outing. It was a great time. Little tiny babies, man. Oh, it's wonderful. We just drank a lot and tickled the toes. That was it. That was it. It was wonderful. We had a really good time. It was the most time I've spent around a newborn since I was a kid. Babies are cute, dude.
Babies do. Yeah, they do.
This is a realization for me. I've never really liked babies. I had so much fun playing with their daughter. She's adorable.
They're not for everybody, but yes, I was definitely in that typical, apologize to your parents position of, hitting 30, 32 and being like, oh, damn, the kids. Yeah, the kids are, babies are cute. I want one.
Yeah, that's, it took me a little longer than you, but I think I'm there. Anyway, that was also fun, was drinking bourbon and playing with baby toys. That was a good time. Good time. Drogon asks, who are your go-to fantasy sci-fi races? Let's have a fun role-playing conversation, Kyle.
Okay.
Like, what do you gravitate towards when you're creating a character or choosing a starting army faction in a game? I'm a dwarf player at heart, so that's usually what I try first if it's an option.
Yeah, dwarves have some good stats.
Elves. I've always been an elf guy.
Yeah.
I started playing WoW, shortly after Lord of the Rings wrapped up, and Legolas is still one of my favorite characters of all time. I think Legolas is like the definition of cool in the dictionary, should just come with a picture of Legolas.
Yeah, they are cool. I used to go for like any of the monsters I could get, whether it was a lizard person in Oblivion or Dragonborns, all that kind of stuff. But in Dragon Age Inquisition, you could play as a Kunari for the first time, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. And like my head was always cut off by the camera. They did not properly adjust anything for the size of my character, and it was super duper weak. But I do always pick tall characters because I get like vertigo, like reverse vertigo if I play like a gnome or something in a video game. Like it really kind of weirds me out being really short.
It makes it look like you're going faster, like the ground movement. It freaks me out too. Yeah, I've tried doing a gnome. I gave an honest try to goblins because I love goblins, and I can't do it. I can't play short races. It just like wigs me out in a weird way that I can't really describe. But it's something about like the speed of the ground passing the bottom of your monitor, like really irks me.
Yeah, and then I played Skyrim, and Skyrim had their, what did they call their drow equivalent in Skyrim? What was that?
It was just dark elves, aren't they?
Yeah. And they came with fire resist, which in a game where you're going to fight dragons, I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. I mean, granted, eventually, like as you get higher level, there's dragons that are breathing ice and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, Dunmer.
Yeah,
I straight up did not know that.
Dunmer from
Morrowind. I played a
Morrowind.
wood elf in Skyrim.
So I was like, well, yeah, you get fire resist, and ever since then, I've always gone with the Dunmer equivalent. So in Final Fantasy XIV, I'm a Duskrite Elizin. Like, I just really, really like whenever. Yeah, I'm reading through the Skyrim wiki right now. Yeah, you got bonus destruction.
Oh, hey,
alchemy.
I'm not completely off base. More commonly referred to as dark elves and the rest of Tamriel, says the Elder Scrolls wiki.
Yeah, okay. So that's where I tend to lean. I tend to lean that direction nowadays.
Yeah. I was always in the elves. I be honest, and this is meant with a very light passing comment. I went to go make an Elzen, and I think they look a little silly. But I also didn't have like a frame of reference or seeing them in action, because after hanging out with a Stinian a bunch, I kind of loved the Elizin. But when I was making mine, I was like, I feel I look like Gumby. Like, it's just got a long limb.
Yeah, they're a little stretched out. Many people have noted in the stream, because it's my stream view, that my emotions are much more muted than you would find on another MSQ character reacting to what's going on.
Oh, yeah, dude. I know I'm a basic-ass human-ass here in Final Fantasy, but our facial expressions in cutscenes are great.
Yeah.
Really gets across some emotive stiff.
I really, really like them. I do think the dwarf storyline in original Dragon Age Origins, is the best. Like, you can do human, and you get a really, really nice build-up that's much more Game of Thrones alongside Tim Curry. But I think investing yourself in what can be the most laborious part of the game and giving that political atmosphere more weight is the right way to go.
Yeah, usually an elf, and I blame Legolas. Oh, and also Kael'thas was like my second favorite character when playing through Warcraft 3. So, thought Kael'thas was super cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Arthas is super cool, but humans look super dumb in World of Warcraft, so I try not to play humans.
It's more about like when they do their, Dusk Rites, their Dark Elves, like all that, so the Drow, whatever, kind of fantasy world you're living in. It's also the stats they give. Like they always give them like heavy like destruction magic or something like that. Usually some bonus to sneak, and that's my favorite way to play the game is like a wizard rogue. Particularly if there's any like stealth in these first-person RPGs, because you can really get a lay of the land first before you attack, and I just find it more immersive. So I always find myself going that direction.
That said, when I tabletop nowadays, the older I get, the more I like playing giant muscle-bound idiots.
Sure, they're fun.
Yeah, I've really kind of done an about face. And my favorite character I ever played in the Star Wars RPG was he was just a ex-Imperial human, and I just loved the character. I just ripped off a character from the what was the set of novels? I have them here somewhere. Oh crap, they're not here. Oh, what the hell's it called? I don't remember now. There's a trilogy that.
Yeah. For my 5-year running D&D campaign that we did on There Will Be Dungeons, like I basically combined Worf and Venture Bros guy. What was his name? Kronk from Venture Bros.
What? Oh, you're right. That is like it's Brock.
Yeah, Brock Sampson. Brock Sampson.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to play fish out of water. Like be the big guy that doesn't really understand what's going on around him. Just Worf in general, I think is hilarious. I think it's a great character.
Yep. Last D&D one shot I played, our opening scene, we were all meeting in a bar and we're attacked, and I was like, "Can I rip off the bar top and swing at the guy?" And he's like, "Roll for it."
Yeah.
And it was very fun.
I also really like corrupt doctors, like organ trading type.
Ooh.
Like those are really fun to play.
Nice. Yeah. I did like an ex-intelligence officer for Star Wars, and it was so much fun just being a deceitful, like, high-class ass. I like playing bad people. I don't know why, Kyle, but it's fun. It's fun to be a jerk.
Fun. Yeah, it is fun. Because it's fun and it's not reality, right? Because you're not that big of a jerk or psychopath in real life,
Yeah. D&D DM was really into it at the not DM, whatever it's called, Game Master in Star Wars: Edge of the Empire. He was really into it. Kept throwing me in scenarios that took me down a peg. Like he knew exactly how to play with that character, and it was great. It was a good time. But anyways, thanks for the questions, everybody. Keep them coming. Drop us messages in that chat in our Discord, or feel free to write us an email. But that's going to bring us to the end of this episode, which means we want to give a thanks and a shout out to our bad-ass patrons. Every week. You surprise me every week. Supporting us on Patreon. You can support everything Kyle and I are making by going to supportourbromance.com. It will take you to our Patreon. And thank you to our recent patrons, starting with Ivan. Thank you so much for signing up, Ivan.
Aaron S. Thank you for your support.
Marie B. Appreciate it.
Grant B. Thank you very much.
I redact last names, no relation. Drashin. Thanks for going to supportourbromance.com.
Yeah, appreciate that. And Juan ZS. Appreciate your support.
Mark B. We are very thankful. Appreciate it, Mark.
Perhaps from the Final Fantasy community here, Trauma. Appreciate you.
That's what T stands for on the ESRB rating for Final Fantasy XIV. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. So thank you for the support. And there's a very special level of patrons we thank each and every week, and those are our wonderful legendary level backers. So thank you so much to Sean B, Mike R, Stephen J, Wayra E, Das, Cheesy Bob, and Sean with an EA B. We really appreciate the support. So if you want to support Kyle and me, you want to become a patron, or even check out that legendary level, you get thanked each and every episode. Check out supportourbromance.com. It's where you can support Kyle and me and everything we do. Other than that, you can follow Kyle on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. I am at Garrett Art, and we have a joint account at Garrett and Kyle. So go give that a follow for show updates. I just realized I forgot to tweet that we're going live today. And you can also follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/AMoveTV for the Grinding Gear channel for everything we do. We stream this podcast live on Thursdays over there. We're streaming Final Fantasy XIV MSQ tonight. And what we didn't talk about what we're doing tomorrow, but we're gonna take a day off tomorrow and play something different.
Yeah.
Probably Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
again.
probably more Monster Hunter. Yeah, no,
probably more Monster Hunter. I enjoyed that last week. That was fun. Yeah, probably more Monster Hunter. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of the Grinding Gear Podcast. Until stream tonight. GG.
Take care.